All right, we are live. Welcome to The Scene Live. This is a space for entrepreneurs who are building something meaningful and want a business that supports their life, not just their income. I'm Kim Speed, and I'm a brand clarity coach, and I work with experienced professionals who have started service based businesses but are still trying to build more consistent clients and income. And on this show, we share real stories from entrepreneurs, what worked, what didn't, and the lessons you only learn from actually building a business. So I'm really glad you're here because today I have a really exciting client. And hold on one second, I'm getting I'm getting reverb here. Hold on. What's going on? Technical issues. Hold on one second here. I think. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. So I am excited because today my guest is Ray. And Ray is the owner and drone pilot behind Yorkshire Drone Photography. And Yorkshire Drone Photography is a business that supports aerial photography that he uses with people that have businesses that are property, construction, and commercial clients with high quality drone imagery. Ray discovered a passion for photography when he was a teenager. And over time, that interest evolved into a drone photography business working with companies that need reliable aerial visuals for their projects. He's known for a calm, methodical approach to aerial operations and for delivering accurate, high quality results while maintaining strong safety standards. Ray has also been involved in several other ventures across automotive and nonprofit work. So he brings a really interesting entrepreneurial perspective. So let's welcome Ray to the show. Hello, Ray.
Hello,
How are you? Thank you for joining me today.
I'm very good and you're very welcome.
Well, I'm excited. I have had a lot of people asking about you because we have never had a drone photographer on before. And it's such an interesting business. So before we get in, Ray, I always like to start in at the beginning. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey, how you went from discovering photography as a teenager to becoming an entrepreneur and drone pilot?
I actually was a photographer probably being pre-teenager. I started using cameras probably from the age of about 7 or 8. Uh, by the time I got to the age of 12, I'd actually set up my very first camera club in the UK. So as a child, really, I always remember it was an old people's home where I used to have exhibitions of cameras that I collected, and basically created this camera club from there. So right from an early age, I've always had a passion for photography. Uh, so throughout my journey, I mean, I started taking photos, developing film. Uh, as we've grown up,
Old school photography.
definitely. And my parents used to love the fact I had a dark room under the stairs and spent most of my hours in there. But it was fantastic. But obviously, as we progressed, technology's moved on. We moved on to mirrorless cameras now, which
Yeah.
but I still take photos. Wherever I am in the world, I take a camera with me to capture wildlife. I'm a very big advocate of wildlife photography for protection of species, and from that, basically, my wife said to me one day, "What would I like for Christmas?" This is going back 10, 12 years. I said a drone because I saw a drone at that time not for business or industry. I actually saw it as sound very cliche, but I just saw it as a very big tripod because it allowed me to put a camera into a position that I wouldn't normally get to. So that's what I saw a drone for. Uh, Obviously, in the early days, I did have some very expensive mishaps with
Oh dear.
and that's how it started really. I had this drone, I started using it to take photos of just aerial photos, just unusual. I always like to capture stuff from a different perspective, and that's what a drone could do.
Yeah.
And from that time, I always remember the very first estate agent, long before it became popular, reached out to me and asked if I would take some aerial photos of a property. And that's how I got into it really. I took that and I started taking photos for clients. Some professional photographers I knew from days of old reached out to me to see if I would take some aerial shots from weddings because they were doing the groundwork and they wanted some aerial photos to capture the event as it was happening. So that's how it got into it, Kim, really. I mean, from that.
All because your wife gave you a gift.
Yeah, basically, I mean, it literally was that. I mean, I saw it. It was a really, really, really basic thing. It was nothing like the technology we have these days. But I just said, yeah, I quite like that because I was always fascinated with photography. It's all about capturing something to me, that's different. It's not set up. It's not planned.
Yeah.
And when you can see something from looking down, it's an unusual way of seeing something, but it is great to capture something, a wild animal. Even just looking down on it is so different to looking straight onto it.
Yeah. Amazing. So, I mean, there's one thing to, have a drone and have have it as a side business, or it sort of sounds like it started as a side business because you had other things, like you have lots of other things.
At that time, I since when I went into my working career, I worked in automotive. That's my background. I started off in a company as a mechanic and worked all my way through to senior management level and director level for some organisations. Both I worked in Middle East, I worked in Africa, and I worked in the UK. So
in automotive.
In automotive.
Yes.
So what was strange at that is obviously when you start your own business or you start tinkering with it, not expecting it to grow as it did. And then obviously as it became quite fun actually, because as the drone business got busier, I was starting to take not more time out of automotive, but I was doing 2 jobs full time, and it was quite a stressful time. I'm not saying it wasn't. It was a lot of hours, 7 days a week, and just pre-COVID, I made a decision. I had to go full time. I had to go full time because when COVID came, I was just talking about this on a previous network call. When COVID came, I just got inundated with opportunity through work, through COVID, for the drone to be used. So it was a massive decision to give up a very big group management role for a car manufacturer. And to step away from that and do full-time drone work.
Yeah.
Because as you can appreciate, it's a massive step. It's only taken away, a very good salary, and then you're having to go out there and rely on your. By that time, I built up a very good client base, but still, COVID was going to affect these client bases, as you can appreciate it.
Yeah.
Some industries, entertainment, and that definitely struggled throughout COVID, which has a knock on to the work that I was planning, what I was doing. So it was a very big decision to do. One I look back on now and think, yes, I was glad I did it. But obviously, when you're working through COVID and through all that circumstances and that turmoil, it's not the easiest things to do.
Well, no, and it's still you're taking a big chance. So what sort of threw you into okay, I'm going to actually do this? Is it because you really enjoyed doing it, or did you see that you were going to make more money, or, how do you balance that out? Like, oh yeah, I'm going to go and have my own drone business.
At the time, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't driven by the money side of it. I actually thought to myself, my very first plan of being full-time drone pilot was just to make two-thirds of what I was earning in automotive. That's all I needed as my income type. The reason I wanted to do it full time is because I really have a passion for doing it, for photography and for flying drones. I do like it. It's
Yeah.
Because every day is different. It's not like working in automotive or in any other career. It's not just automotive. You can get into that rut of every day is the same, but it's not in drone work. I mean, today I
Yeah.
could be doing a wedding photography shoot. I mean, tomorrow I could be mapping a piece of land, or I could be doing a roof survey on a grade 2 listed building. Everything's different, and that's what I really enjoy, because in all jobs in automotive, you tend to get into the same routine, whereas I don't have that same routine in this job.
Yeah.
So that's what I really excited me about. It wasn't the money side of it; it was the fact that every day really
And
was.
I think I want to make sure that people hear that, because so many times we're driven by, I grew up where you went to school, you got a job, and you worked your way up the ladder because you had to make more money, et cetera, et cetera. That's just how I was taught. So going in and saying, I'm going to do my own business, I'm going to, go and be a consultant or a coach or anything like that. A lot of times families are not supportive of this, because it's like, what? So did you?
I think it all depends. I mean, I wasn't a teenager when I started the job, at the drone job. I was quite, I was going to say, late to doing drone pilot work, because drones haven't been around
No.
for general public for a massive amount of time. But equally, by the time I was making that decision, I was in a very fortunate position. I didn't have a mortgage. I didn't have any. My son had grown up, so I had no real family commitment side of it. So I wasn't having to keep a mortgage or a house, etc. My house, we both myself and my wife, we were in a position where we didn't have any serious major outcomes. So hence I could afford not to generate the same amount of money that I was generating in automotive, because I was willing to afford to take the decrease in salary to be in a job that really excited me every day, that really gave me a purpose, and something that and it still does now. I mean, after many, many years, and I still get excited every day. I mean, some days I still get feeling I'm tired and stuff like that, but I do every day get a real buzz. I mean, tomorrow I've got a fantastic job to do in the centre of London, which again, not every pilot will get. I've flown in some amazing. I've flown inside a British Museum, which I don't think many pilots will ever say they've done that.
Oh, inside.
Yeah,
Inside.
I
Wow.
did a roof survey in 2 galleries inside a British Museum, which it was an amazing experience that you just wouldn't do.
Yeah.
So these sort of things, these jobs excite me. And whether or not I'm doing something, and that's just a roof survey, but it's still a fantastic thing to do, or a wedding. All of these things. Or I did a project just the other week where people are redeveloping their land, but the excitement they got from just seeing photos or the
Because
photogrammetry.
how else would they ever see it like that? How?
That's it, exactly. I mean, it was just a farm, but they were so keen to see it from looking down on it rather than just walking around it. And
Yeah.
it's just fascinating. And I get real pleasure from people, just seeing that excitement. I mean, we do a lot of stuff at Christmas and weddings, Christmas and Valentine's, where we film engagement, Valentine, not parties, where the proposals happen. We capture that.
Oh, yes. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, or people who want to remember a special place that they got proposed at or they got married at, or even just their house photos. I mean, we have a lot of clients that come back every 3 or 4 years just to have a new photo of their property, just so they've got this almost like a Flickr book of their life through their family, their house. So they get the image captured at different times, every 3-4 years. And it is fascinating to see people still get excited about that.
I love that. I love that. Well, and I can just see, like, I can tell there's a passion there, and that's probably why you do so well at this, and people want to hire you. But I have to ask, okay, so you do work with properties and construction clients and finding, things, seeing people's roofs and seeing people's properties from above. But I know that there's some other things, really exciting things that you do. I've seen pictures, places you've been that are amazing. So you've had some amazing opportunities land because
we do a lot of traveling around the world with the clients we work for. Obviously, certain ones where we have to sign NDAs or non-disclosure agreements with that. But yeah, we've been to some amazing places. Some of the projects we've worked on, I'm very passionate about, not because it's photography, but it's about wildlife or it's about conservation. We do a lot of rainforest mapping so that we can check to see if any deforestation is happening year on year. We've looked at hard borders within Europe, where we've checked this security fencing, because a drone can do it a lot quicker. We do a lot of stuff in our own country. We do a lot of search and rescues with drones. We do a lot of dogs.
search and rescue. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, we work with the local, at least 3 or 4 organisations locally to us where we're based. Obviously, we're in the middle of moors, so we do a lot of search and rescue. We do all that for free. We look for where dogs go missing. We search and rescue for dogs, but we also do a lot of inspections for where we live in the area around us. Is a peat bog, so there's a lot, especially as we go into summer, a lot of fires that break out throughout the night due to arson or it's actual natural. So we have a drone that will go up and check purely for hotspots. We're using infrared cameras or thermo cameras and that. And again, we do all that for free of charge, just purely because we're so passionate about, obviously any damage to habitat affects wildlife, and that's what we're very passionate about, wildlife.
And so that's amazing too, and so fun for you. Like, you get to, see all this nature, which you're so passionate about. You get to use cameras. How on earth do you have a license to do the drone? How did you even get this? How does this happen?
Initially, because I've held my very first license, which was a PSCO, which is not available now, but that PSCO license is an intensive license that you have to complete. Every year you have to submit your flight records to the Civil Aviation Authority so they can check to see that you haven't broken any rules, gone into any areas that you shouldn't be, gone to heights that you shouldn't have gone. So that gets submitted every year. We've continued to do that, even though the PSCO license faded out to a new PDR AO1 license. But we still maintain that license purely because some of the clients that we've worked with will not use anyone who doesn't hold that or have that license. So we maintain that. But the licenses, all our pilots all go through the licenses. We hold, in the UK, we hold a minimum of an A2LC, GBC license, PDR AO1 license, and then as you go into certain other countries, we hold different licenses like ESTAs out in Europe, etc. But all of them, some of them are done online. As it is, ironically, next week I've got to do a refresher for 2 of them, which means I'm away for a day to do that. But it's an intensive. As some of the restrictions for people flying drones is changed this year. So you can do an online multiple choice questionnaire so you can legally fly a drone. Obviously, to do commercial stuff where you've got to have when you've got credibility in the company that you work for and the company name. We hold some senior licenses that say we hold them for 5 years and we have to go through refreshers for them.
Now, are there a lot of people now that have do this?
The drone industry it sounds like a pun, but it's taken off. It's because it's become, there's some toys out there that obviously people use now, but as we move into this year, it's getting a little bit more restrictive than it was last year. January 2028 will 2027, sorry, will become even more stricter, where it'll have remote ID, so civil aviation or even the police will be able to point a machine up at the drone and tell you who's flying it, who's registered.
The police will be able to do that?
Yeah, because they're trying to make it much more safer. It's all about safety, obviously. At the moment, certain other countries do have that. We don't have that in the UK, but it is coming in 2027. But it's as it become, the basic drones have become more affordable. People are buying them now. Obviously, there is rules. You still hold an operator ID, which you can get online.
Mm-hmm.
I've done a multiple choice question, but I suppose that's what you should do to be compliant and legal. But there's still a load of people out there that just buy a drone and don't actually do any of that, and they just fly the drone, without actually having a license, etc.
I know that's like a big no-no here. Like everybody you have to get permission, and I'm sure you go through a lot of that where you can't just go to a place and start flying around.
I've always had this thing that a drone should almost be like, you should have to produce something to buy a drone. You should just be, if you're going to walk into a shop to buy a drone, you should have to produce a license to say that you're able to fly it. Mm-hmm. We don't have them rules in the UK, but that's because, to me, some of these drones, I mean, my biggest one's got a 2-meter wingspan, which is considerably some weight when that's in the air. If that was all out of the air because I wasn't qualified, that would kill someone. So that's no different to having
it's like a small plane.
Even the small ones that we fly, I mean, they could hurt if they fall out of the sky. So that's why I'm a big believer that you shouldn't be able to buy that sort of machinery unless you can produce a license to say that you're qualified to fly it. But we don't have laws in the UK. But
it's coming.
Kim, that's why it is becoming more and more people are flying drones. There's a lot more people out there using them, not necessarily for business. I mean, I'm quite lucky that I've got a very established customer base.
Yes.
There's always going to be people out there that are new to market trying to compete with you. But I think when you've got a professional name doing the job where you're legal compliant 100% of the time with the clients that we operate with, I think our business will always be sustainable, whereas the people that come into the market will probably be in and just fall by the wayside after a period of time.
Well, one of the things I remember you and I talking before this, and I had no idea, you were enlightening me about, a drone, a photographer it works also with a drone pilot. So there's two people sometimes that have to operate the bigger ones.
I mean, the very small ones are a one-man thing, because whichever way you face the drone, the camera is actually facing. The only difference is you can tilt it up and down. But on some of the bigger ones that we use, like the Inspire 3 we've got here, we've got Unit 520. There's probably about half a dozen drones in here where it takes two people to fly it. So one person will actually fly the drone, and the next person will actually fly the camera. So basically, the drone pilot's actually just making sure that he's not hitting into anything, etc. But it's the cameraman is working independently to the way the drone is. So if the drone's going one way, the camera could be doing something completely different.
Which is interesting, because you have to then learn how to work together.
Yeah, I mean, because it is a knack, but they will, you work together. But the cameraman has one job, which is basically, especially when you're filming with that type of drone, you're doing a lot of cinematic stuff. He's probably following a car, he might be following people on a film set or a boat or something like that. Right. So he's got one job, which is to stay locked on that.
Right.
Where the pilot of the drone, all he's got to do is make sure that he can keep moving of the drone in line with the way the camera's facing, etc. It's very different because once the drone's in the air and flying, the camera has a 360 view. The camera rotates 360, whereas on some of the smaller drones, it don't. The camera's
Oh,
fixed.
okay. I thought they all did that. Yeah.
No. The bigger ones, the camera will rotate 360, whereas on much more of the smaller drones, I say, if it's a quad with 4 propellers, whatever way the camera's facing, you have to rotate the drone to move the camera rather than the drone can go anywhere and the camera can face wherever it likes.
Yes.
Stuff.
But I even think about it, it's like a helicopter too, where it's like you can go this way, this way, this way.
Exactly. But if you looked at a police helicopter, you'll have someone flying a helicopter and you'll have someone who's actually operating the camera system below to follow if there's a police chase, etc., etc. The helicopter's not following the police chase. It's the camera that's following the police chase.
Oh, okay.
The helicopter's doing something completely different. And that's the same with a drone.
So I have to ask you because I don't know whether you're big on the Olympics, but this past Olympics was they called it the year of the drone, and the footage we were able to get was so massively improved because of this. It makes me think that a lot of people will want to be getting involved in this.
I mean, the thing that struck me with the Olympics was the downhill ski jumps.
And the bobsled, because it had to be inside.
But them drones are very different. There's two. I mean, obviously, that type of drone is what's called an FPV. It's a first-person view drone. So that's flown very different to the way most of our drones are flown. I mean, we use controllers. They would use a joystick. They would wear a set of goggles where we would see a screen in front of us.
Oh, so they're like in virtual.
They're actually looking through. That's why it's called first-person view. They're looking through the drone, not out of the drone. And then drones they're crazy. I mean, 200 miles an hour.
Yeah, they were so fast. They were.
And yeah. We've got them in FPV drones in here. I can fly them, but I'm not very comfortable with them. And the reason for that is actually the motion sickness they create when you're wearing goggles and traveling at certain speeds. You'll tend to move, your body sways, and as my wife pointed out when she videoed me one day, I did look like a bit of a fool. So, I don't intend not to.
Well, we'll ask for that footage from her sometime.
I think that was deleted quite quick when I actually saw it. But it's very different. But again, it's another use of drones, and FPV is very popular for doing sports arenas or restaurant launches because we fly through the restaurants, under the tables, etc. with them.
Under the tables?
Yeah. I mean, we did an engagement party for a famous rugby player a little while ago, and we flew around. There was about 300 people in the room, and drones going through there about 80 miles
with
an hour.
people in the room?
Yeah, with all people, yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. So
I mean, the pilots that do it it's a knack, it's specialist, it's fantastic. I mean, we're lucky we have one pilot that does it for us that's his specialism is FPV type of work. I would say that it's definitely not mine, but it's becoming so much popular now.
So if somebody was interested in this industry, where do they begin?
I think the very first things you do is if I was honest, is specialize on one thing. You know, I was quite lucky because when I first started, they said it was estate agent work, so I got into photography. That's why the company was called Photography, because predominantly at the start we were taking photos. Obviously, that's now moved on to a lot more things like videography and mapping and stuff like that. But get a niche and stick with it. I mean, very popular, I would say, is roof surveys, because roof surveys are something that happens all year round, you know. And if you can get into commercial roof surveys, certain like warehouses, commercial storage facilities, a lot of them need multiple roof surveys every year. So if you can get into that as one type of work and stick with it, it's about sticking with it. Even when the times when you think it's getting very quiet, don't branch off and choose something different, because you want that reputation about your business to be about that specific niche that you're working on. You know, I'm lucky because we have different people that do certain parts for us, whereas I'm much more into photogrammetry and mapping. That's what I specialise in. But one of my other people will fly FPV. One of them will take commercial, residential properties, etc. But that's what I would find something and stick with it. Whether that's wedding photography, whether that's venue photography, maybe it's mapping style, but don't do multiple things badly. Do one thing really, really good and stick with it.
It's just like we always say, choose your niche and
Yeah,
get to know it really well, so
exactly.
that you get a name in it.
And that's, you know, and it's never going to be easy all the time, and days will get hard and you'll think that this isn't working. But you'll lose the moment you break away from it. So, you know, even when it's rough or it's, you know, the smooth times will come, just stick with it. Don't deviate from it.
That's really good advice. So talking about the business side, when you actually, you know, because you actually worked for somebody before when you were in automotive, correct?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, when it's your own business, what are some of the things that surprised you about, you know, not because it's photography or drone business, but because it's like you as a small business owner? What were some of the biggest struggles?
Well, I think that the number one struggle for me was I had no idea about business. I did not understand the, you know, especially corporate and stuff like that in the UK. I didn't understand, you know, sole trading and limited businesses. I had no idea of this.
Yeah.
And, you know, so
I'm shaking my head because I totally understand.
I knew how to manage people. I knew how to manage a role. I knew how to plan my day. I was very good at man management. I was very good at customer communication and liaison and stuff like that. So all of that I was strong at, because that was just stuff that I've always done in automotive. But what I just didn't understand business sense. I didn't understand, you know. I just assumed that you just put a name out there and win money. I didn't understand all the tax implications. All of these things came at me early on, because obviously before I took that decision to move from one to the other, I sat down with a financial advisor to get a full understanding of, you know, starting a business. What does it need to entail? And the difference between being a sole trader and then moving into a limited business. So all of that stuff I had no idea of, but I did learn, and I did get educated on it before I started. But the man management.
Would you say that's one of the best things you did, was get educated?
Oh yeah, because I would hate to have been in a position 10, 12 years into running a business and all of a sudden know I hadn't done something right, and you know, penalties or fines, etc., that come back from HMRC, etc. I didn't want any of that. I wanted to be completely open, squeaky clean right from the start, so that every piece of paper, every letter that come from me, I knew it wasn't something of risk. That was me. You know, the day-to-day stuff was no problem to me, because literally I've got my own diary for years. A man, you know, my travel, etc. All of that side of it, I knew I was okay with. It's just understanding how to operate business.
Yeah. And the things that pop up, like, what? I have to take care of this.
I mean, obviously, you get into it, and you've got your insurances, then you've got your PAYE, you've got all of that other stuff that comes to light. I mean, at the very start, I didn't have any then, because it was just myself on it, and my wife was assisting. But as these things grow, as you start to get into the job full time, and it starts to elevate, more issues come at you. But that's the beauty of having, obviously, the accountants I've got who are local to me were very, very good with me setting up. They've been very, very supportive. So there were various, you know, they said X, Y, Z, you need this. I had a very good financial advisor that supported me as well. But and all the way through building the business, you need them support facilities and manager.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Even for the whole tech thing of setting up your computer, and like I think of you as techie, but there's always these different things that come up, and softwares that you have to learn and things like that.
I mean, we're lucky. I mean, we've been quite, in our industry, we've got some very good AI tools out there that really do help us. Nothing to do with the flying and that, but it's all around the legalities of making sure that we're everything we record, if we're going into no-fly zones, getting permissions, etc. We've got some very good AI tools that assist us, which really do save us a lot of time. So from the tech side of it, the industry it's got some really good support out there and tools that we use. And then obviously on the day-to-day, the only thing that impacts us on the day now is the weather.
Yes, as we were just talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. And can really mess up your schedule.
Well, as I said to you earlier, Kim, yeah, it has. I mean, this week we've had some really lovely days which we've benefited from, but we've now gone into probably 3 bad days of high gales. I mean, the drones we can fly, but again, rain is the biggest problem, because as much as we can fly, some of these drones can fly in 50 mile an hour, 60 mile an hour winds. It's not very good with the footage. You've got water all over the lens, so
yes,
that's the downside. So if it's raining, it's not really, it's just not very good to try and capture anything for the client. The only positive thing,
you don't have anything that can wipe off the lens.
No. But then I suppose when it does happen and the weather turns bad, we always fall back on our internal work that we do. So we have a lot of internal flying and stuff.
Right.
That, so it's just when we do get a period of extreme weather, it pushes our diary back, which has compounds the customers that you've got booked in, because you've got customers that haven't had their work done, that have been delayed. But it's as much as it's a pain, it's a good pain to have, because it just means that we've got to work harder for a period of time.
Yeah. So for someone that's watching this who has a passion or interest for turning their own passion into a business, what advice would you give them?
If it's a passion, I mean, like if you were in the same situation as me, where like I say, I didn't have the commitments at my age that some people would have, so I was in an easier position to make that decision to trial it and give it a go. That was the thing I tried. I thought, I'm going to give it a go. The good thing was, if it didn't work within 12 months or 18 months, I've always got the automotive industry to drop back into. So I would always say, if it's a passion and it's a dream, try it. Because I would have hated to have sat back there when I retired thinking, I wish I tried it and hadn't tried it. This way, if I tried it and it didn't succeed, at least I can sit back and say, well, I gave it a go and it never worked.
Yeah.
So I would say, if you're in a position to give it a go and it's something you've always wanted to do, then give it a go.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe have a little bit of a plan, but go for it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, literally. But again, like I did, I knew that worst case scenario, if it didn't succeed, I'd set myself 6 months to trial it. If it didn't succeed, I was just going to go back into automotive, because it was an industry that hadn't moved on with me. I could just walk back into it. But if someone had a plan, you're right. If someone's got it in their head and think they'd like to try it, and the plan looks like it will operate for them, then I would wholeheartedly say, give it a try. If you're in a position to try it, give it a try.
I love that. And thank you so much for sharing this. Now, if somebody was interested in chatting to you about drone photography, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
if they just drop on my website there's actually a thing in there to message me. It will just come direct through. It's just a facility. You can go through WhatsApp on there, or you can actually just do it as a message through there, but it'll come straight to me. I'm more than happy to give anyone my advice on, drones, the
Yep.
pros and cons.
Well,
Where,
thank
if anyone's interested to know more about, drones, just reach out.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much for joining me today and staying up, staying a little bit later, even though I know you have a big drive ahead of you. I appreciate that. Thank
That's
you
all
for
right.
sharing all your wisdom and the intricacies of this really, really interesting business. I know I've enjoyed it, and I'm sure everyone else has. So
Lovely.
thank you.
Okay, thank you. Cheers.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. And make sure that you check out Ray's website, YorkshireDronePhotography.com. You can see it on the bottom here, and reach out and say hello to Ray. Tell him that you saw him on the show, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now, everyone.